What's up guys, Peepo here, and today's video is going to be about this. The new Alpha Lacrosse Ascension head. Before we get into it, I did not actually get to test out their beta head, but based off of what I saw from that, they needed a little bit of learning to do, and when it comes to the new Ascension head, I'd have to say they pretty much succeeded in that. Overall, just right off the bat, very nice shape and dimensions and just aesthetics in general. One of the first things you'll notice out of the box, out of the bag, whatever you order and get it in, is going to be that the sidewalls, the sidewall struts, which is actually the Alpha Lacrosse emblem, which they have right here on the throat and in the ball stop, they are asymmetrical. So basically, if you're looking at it this way, the Alpha Lacrosse emblem will be going the correct direction whenever you're looking at it on like a shirt, and then if you're looking at it at the other side, it's the same thing. So they're asymmetrical. So like if you look at it at the front, you'll see that the top of the A wave emblem is higher on one point and lower on the other because they are asymmetrical. But I don't have a problem with that, honestly. With the technology involved with how the plastic can be denser, stronger, whatever polymers they end up using can be stronger while still being asymmetrical and so on. I don't feel it'll have too much of an impact as far as will this part warp in more than on the other side. They're very close to each other, so it won't. I don't feel it'll change anything. Again, off the bat, fairly stiff head. I wouldn't say that you should use it as an LSM or defense. Definitely midi attack. With that stiffness and saying that it's midi attack, you can already see that it has kind of a nice low angled bottom rail. It's very similar to the Maverick Optic, or I guess you could say like the old Evo Pros. Whenever you kind of look at how they have the offset, kind of very Evo Pro-ish, and then bottom rail has that low curvature, which in turn gives it a very solid mid to mid-low pocket setting. You can put a high pocket in it, but I really wouldn't suggest it just because of how the flare or face shape is done. It's very similar to a Maverick Kinetic in how it widens out. Pretty much the same exact point right here on the head is the same as on the Maverick Kinetic. And a lot of people have actually been putting mid to mid-low pockets in the Kinetic just because of that face shape, even though the Kinetic has the offset on the sidewalls for more of a mid to mid-high pocket. So with those sort of mindseted people with the Kinetic, I feel that the Ascension will work a little more towards what you're trying to get at, and it has a really good offset. You can really feel the ball. I really liked it. I mean, if I didn't already have a couple more heads than I really would, I'd probably make this into my rotation for use. And it's got a good face. That face shape is really good for catching almost any ball that comes your way. I kind of have a wild catch, but I feel confident when I'm catching with this. Getting into the actual stringing off of that, it has sidewall holes very similar to how most of the Maverick Optic and Centric and Tank have the circular holes, as well as the angled sidewall area. So it angles up into a point and has circular sidewall holes, except for when you get to closer to the top, you will have, I believe it is 5 sidewall holes that are kind of oval, longer than your circular ones on the rest of the head, which is good. That's real good. Obviously, you can see I did a single wrap around for my top string and my sidewall string. Then I could push the entire lace through there easily enough. I doubled up for this sidewall stringing right here, and then the actual circular sidewall holes are big enough for most laces to go through easily enough one time through. And that's what I ended up doing with these rolled fire threads snow laces. Worked out perfectly fine. Sidewall holes, I believe they'll be able to take, if you use like 550 cord or top string for your sidewalls, I believe they'll be able to take bigger strings like that. Decent number of sidewall holes, can pretty much string up however you want. Your bottom string holes are oval in shape, can't really tell there. Let's see if you can tell there. Yeah, there you go. They're oval in shape, you can fit most leathers through them. Pretty decent amount of plastic thickness wise for down there, so it's not likely to break easily, whether you use the leathers or a bottom string. The head will come with this pretty cool custom Alpha Lacrosse bottom string, which is basically a top string thickness. So it's a pretty thick string, and you can use it for bottom string. I think it's pretty neat that it is the same colors as to what they have their apparel and theme color, which this is one of their custom colors. It's not quite like any other of the blues that are out there. I mean, you got your hyper light blue from Maverick, you got your electric blue from STX and Warrior. They kind of have that electric blue color going on, but this is more of like a teal slash turquoise sort of color, very oceany. Makes you think of like sea foam. I guess I would say that's kind of like a seafoam green blue. But top string holes, you have an abundance. It makes me think of the Evo Pros again, where they have a bunch of holes in between the actual top string holes. I'm assuming this is for getting rid of weight, as well as being able to allow people to do more or less what they want with top strings, getting customized and everything like that. Can fit most strings through there. The smaller ones, I probably wouldn't recommend. If you're going to get fancy and do different colors and stuff, I would recommend that the appearing, like strings that aren't necessarily doing anything but are there for appearance sake, I would probably recommend that they be cross lace going through there. They can fit sidewall through there, but I just think it would look a little better if the strings were smaller to accommodate the fact that the holes are just a little smaller. In fact, the smaller top string holes here in between where I have the top string are the same size as the top sidewall holes, so they will fit sidewall size strings, the millimeter size. But I honestly would probably use a smaller string just for appearance sake. But overall, I really like this head. Really good balance. It has two drill holes for your screws, and you can, I believe it'll go on STX and Warrior / Brine shafts. I tried lining them up, and it lined up at least one hole for all those shafts, which is good. That means that if you're stuck in your ways and using a certain type of shaft, you can transfer over this head easily enough. So all around, very solid head, really good scoop. A little more pointed than I would really like, as far as not being super rounded like most people are doing, but the way that the angle is working here, one, it protects your top string pretty well, and then because of the angle, as well as if you've been practicing properly with your ground balls, it really shouldn't be too much of a problem to come in at an angle and get under the ball, whether you're on turf or dirt, which is kind of where my thing is with going in for ground balls, is that the turf will be fine, but on grass and dirt, I don't know. I really haven't. I wouldn't think should be a problem, but I don't know. It depends on your technique. But so, all in all, very great head. Amazingly good second head from an up-and-coming company in the stick market. So I know they've had carbon fibers for a while now. They're getting more so into the metal game as well. But I would have to say, as far as heads are concerned, they took everything with a grain of salt when it came to criticism and everything for their first beta head, I believe it was called. Yes, beta. I believe they took that to the extreme in trying to make something better, and they succeeded. So make sure you check out the Alpha Lacrosse Ascension head. It comes in white, this seafoam color, black, and gray, and should be priced around $85, maybe $90, which is pretty good average price for most heads. If you find it any lower, good on you. But strings up really well. I'm not going to give out a pattern for it just because there's patterns everywhere. You could probably transfer it over from a kinetic or something else, but I think you guys will be just fine stringing it, figuring it out on your own. Great head. Check it out. If you see someone with it or you see it at a tournament, give it a try. I highly recommend it if you're trying to find a good new offensive head to try instead of your usual ones that are out there. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll check you later.